Okay, a bit of total luck from that. Everyone got disconnected. Thankfully, well for me, luckily, it says white disconnects and forfeited. Put on the history, so I go up to 2180 with that total bit of luck. Otherwise, I've lost about 30 points. Because basically, I have disconnection means forfeit as the setting. So in this kind of incident, yeah, that was pot luck that it wasn't my turn. So everyone got forfeited. But on the bright side, the connection seems a bit better. So maybe it's all good really for upgrades, but for improving, okay, whatever, connections. Let's move a bit more of this into the recording area. Onto another game. Okay. Watch some title players or something. If anyone's back, nope. Only 10 title players are back on the site at the moment. 10 players displayed of 383. I think everyone's they're going to work their way back. 389 now. People are slowly coming back. Blimey, everyone was kicked off just then. You're going to have an auto-pairing 15-minute game against right, another King's Gambit. So what's Mamilo like? Is it up and down? Okay. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so knight f3, I think. So 2 King's Gambit games this morning. 1 disconnection. Thankfully, it wasn't my turn. Everyone got kicked off then, but yeah. Maybe it was in the news or something and I didn't read it. If I'm going to the I don't know. Doesn't matter. So I could try the bishop c4 line at some point, inviting check. But that other game was fun with bishop e7. Alright, now here, okay. Is it important to play h4 immediately? Probably, because then there's no h6. So I think h4 immediately to break the pawns. g4, knight g5 or knight e5. Which would hit g4. Knight e5 might be better than knight g5. Still with the option of knight f7. So let's get this right. So knight e5 here, and that famous Spassky-Fischer game where Fischer lost to the King's Gambit. Knight e7, although I usually play knight g5. Sorry, okay, so knight e5. I think that looks like a good idea. Although bishop e7 looks a bit scary, but maybe g3 to protect that pawn. Take bishop g2, that'll be fine. g3 actually looks a bit of fun. Okay. Take on g4 here. But then bishop e7. Well, there's always knight f2. So maybe h5 or something. Bishop e7. I'm in uncharted territories yet again. It's amazing, isn't it? There's a different story completely every time I play the King's Gambit. It's like completely, have to improvise all the time. Bishop e7, h5, bishop h4, knight f2. Doesn't look too bad. What else after bishop e7? Actually, I guess knight f7 was probably strong. Maybe I've just played this incorrectly, because d6 means maybe bishop c4 check there was, and queen h5 was good. Oh dear. Is this good? Just regaining the pawn, but these pawns are fractured. So if I did play h5, bishop h4, knight f2, I look forward to A, getting the dark square bishop, and B, playing d4 and bishop f4. Okay, now this can't be that bad, can it? If the queen's blocked in, it's not. There's a target on for knight c3, knight d5. Well, do I play knight f2? That's the question. Knight f2 is another one. Knight h5 is not on the cards. Knight f2 might be interesting. Then d4, knight c3. I can't see that much wrong with knight f2. Maybe rook g8, d4, knight g4. Oh, let's go with knight f2. So I play d4 here. Try and get in bishop f4. My bishop's restricted though, yeah, with that pressure. Okay, so knight c3 now. Just try and get on developing. Queen f3, there's rook g3. Ah, rook g3. This is not good, is it? Unless knight d3 is any good now, coming up. Knight d3, just try and win that. No, I don't know. Maybe I should have gone with knight f7. This doesn't look brilliant. Queen. What about queen f3? That attacks f4. If bishop g4, well, just okay. Queen f3. Yeah, I think queen f3. Forgetting my analysis that rook g3 is actually a strong move, of course. It's too early in the morning. No! Rook g3. Why am I thinking that? Ah. On the verge again of a horrible game. So rook g3, I don't know. Queen e2 and then maybe e5 and knight d5. I don't know. Wake up. So it's a target though, isn't it? So e5, knight c, e4. Clearly it's a target here, that rook. That's one good thing anyway. I should have gone for that knight f7, I think. Oh, now this is all collapsing, isn't it? Knight b5. Does that move? a6 d5. I can't imagine going back to d1 is any good. Poxy comes to mind. What about e5, knight d4, ef? Attacking the queen. I'll go for that because I think knight d5. Okay. No, I'll just lose e5 instead. Great. Well, I do get in knight c e4. Knight d4, knight f6. Oh, what have I done? I think pawn sack then for knight c e4. Take. Knight c e4. Attacking the rook. Only chance. Surely. Black's very active here. He could also play knight d4, knight c2 if he wanted. What's that, ef? He could probably get his rook trapped. I mean, knight trapped. Okay. What about no, I don't know. It's horrible. What about knight g5 though? Knight c4 to g5, try and win f4. Try and get this h file open. I think okay, there's some sort of glimmer of hope here. If he did win e5, so take. Knight c e4, rook moves, knight g5, take. Now if knight d4, ef, knight c2, king d1. Okay, I'm going in for this. So can I get in knight c e4? Knight c4 be the best one. Or knight f. Thinking a lot here as well. Okay. On the bright side, I'm not any pawns down at the moment. I will be, but these pawns are fragmented, so maybe it's not a big deal, this position. I get a tempo gain off the rook, get to play knight g5, open up this rook, try and win this pawn. Intriguing. Knight d4, there might be another option actually. Or not. Probably not. Probably ef is the only move. If this knight moved knight d5, I assume, there's no check. It's still a bit troublesome. There might be knight f6 check after that. Okay. Aha! Finally. I think I will get the queens off. Use this tempo gainer. I want to get in knight g5. Try and undermine this f4 pawn. Right, he hasn't got too many options here, surely. Takes. So then knight g5. Rook g6, maybe h. No, I don't want h5. I want to play knight g5. So I'm on that f4 pawn. So threat of bishop f4 here. If f6, maybe bishop f4 attacking here. Takes bishop e5. There I'm losing to rook e6. That's not particularly hot. So if f6, well, at least he blocks in the rook. Maybe knight h3, try and get the knight to grab bishop. Knight e4, has it got anything going for it? Knight h7 just probably loses the knight. Maybe knight h3 does f3. Doesn't look too pleasant. Maybe knight e4 is I don't know, knight h3, f3, bishop h6. G takes, what about just knight f3? Just fixing that f pawn. Controlling g4, trying to get this pawn off. Okay. G file. So he takes, he's got double pawns, isolated pawn. Can't be that bad. If I get him bishop d3 after that, rook g2 or king f2. King f2, bishop d3, bishop d2, bishop c3, rook e1. And king f2 here, just protecting and bishop f4 if bishop moves over there, bishop e3. Alright. Can I just take undouble the pawns? Take bishop d3 though is still worth considering, isn't it? Not really. What about bishop e2 for a moment? So bishop moves bishop f4, I think. Actually, I might be threatening knight e5 at some point. Tricky. It's getting a bit short of time. Quite luxurious for time, this guy. Okay, so he's nicked a pawn rather brutally with this variation of the King's Gambit. And no, c3. Well, there's also knight g4 coming in. How pleasant. What about h5 or knight takes e5 now? Knight takes does mean huge pawns in the centre, so probably not an idea. Knight g4 doesn't look that pleasant either. So I think, actually I do think c3 might be the best to play knight d4 at some point. c3, bishop d1 looks a bit passive. c3, knight g4, king f1, I don't know. Or is knight e5 a better bet? Or even knight d2? No, it's losing this. Knight e1. Knight e1. Horrible. I don't like my king position particularly. This knight g4 is not particularly appetizing. Knight e5 is not either, so it's a sort of lesser evil position, I think. What's a lesser evil? Taking on e5. Don't think I'm ever going to get that f4 pawn after knight g4. It's horrible. I could take knight e2, knight e1. Is knight e1 actually completely terrible as a lesser evil move? Bishop f8, bishop f4. I think I'll go with knight e1 anyway. So protects c2, protects g4. If the bishop moves, maybe bishop f4, bishop e3. Possibly there's a little hope here. This is, how did this position just get so terrible? That e5 pawn sack wasn't the most amazing, pleasant thing to do in the King's Gambit. So probably knight f7 was more in the spirit of it after d6. Forget the intentional knight g4 after knight e5 in that opening. I think if d6 just knight takes f7, I'm going to check that out after. That d6, I mean, I don't know. If knight g4 I can take, and then knight d3 and I'll be on f4. So actually this knight e1 might reveal itself to be a good move depending on blunder, really, unfortunately. Have to depend on the blunder here. h5, rook h4, trying to get this f4. That's an idea. f4 is a bit vulnerable potentially. h5 and rook h4. Try and keep in the game. Alright, I think h5 anyway. If I can try and get in rook h4, it activates the rook a bit more. If bishop g5, maybe rook f4, just exchange sack. Pawns are broken up. There's no major connected pass pawns in the centre. The bishop pair could be promising for me. So I think rook h4 is the only active. Can't do anything with these guys. This bishop's restricted anyway. It will bring the bishop to life to play rook h4, rook f4, or even do I keep control of d2? Otherwise, rook d2 is a bit of a disaster. So I think, okay, I've got control of g4 for the first time. Bishop g5, rook f4. It takes bishop g4, knight d3. No, there's rook e2. Okay, so bishop g5 needs to be given. It's down to a minute. It's been, I don't know, some sort of major perfectionist. I know he's got this idea of okay, bishop c5 coming up. So rook at f4, does that save the day? Bishop c5. I think rook f4 attacks usefully. Alright, king f1, only move. Because king g3 there's rook g8. I don't think that's particularly hot. So king f1, I can't see it getting mated immediately. So that's good news. Right. So what's his strong piece to get rid of? Knight d3. Try and get rid of that horrible knight. Rook f6 was just exposing my king. I think knight d3. Try and shield the d file. Can't see too much wrong with knight d3. Use this pawn as protection for my king. If I get bishop. Right, is cd safer? Bishop d3. Bishop d3. There's no major disaster on e1 just yet. I think bishop d3 is more ideal if there's no major disaster on e1. Bishop e4 just take. Okay. Aha, he's prompting a major disaster on e1. Rook d1, I have to sack a pawn, I think. That's horrible. So bishop d2, sack a pawn for bishop c3, should have a stable position. There's no rook d3, I hope. Or is there? Is there a rook d3? Probably there is. Hang on. Bishop d2, rook d3. Is he mating there? Rather brutally. Huh. Okay, what about rook f3, trying to hold the fort here? Blimey, this is scary. 1 minute to go. Alright, can I just get a rook off, or cd? Is cd, I'm getting battered off the cd, I hope not. So bishop f4, trying to get this rook into the game to protect e1. That was scary for rook d3. Blimey, this guy's quick. Or something. Right, doesn't want my bishop out, does he? without a huge punishment. I just want to play the bishop out. So bishop f4 finally. Oh no! Oh dear. Right, how's this position? Right, getting the king going up the board. Right, I want to play b3, get rook c1 in, or rook c4. Okay, can I attack things? I'm not. I'm going to get the rook trapped at this rate. I'll get the pawn over there to h6 just in case. That's useful. I'll get the rook over here. Maybe rook h5 to g5 to g7. Getting to my pawns. Okay, that's fixed over there for a sec. There's rook d6. Is that useful eviction? Rook c8. Control that file. Can I get this f pawn? Protect this guy. Don't want to give up that f pawn. D pawn. Right, I can take f pawn finally. I don't want the draw. I can win another pawn. I think it's cracking up. Aggressive king. He's resigned. Yes, 2191. Oh, what a comeback! Blimey, this was terrible. Just knight f7, probably. No, but he's on g4. Ah, this just looks like a disaster line. It's just queen f3 blundering even after I saw rook g3. Just memory of an amoeba here in this game. Okay, but it was a difficult position, I suppose. And then this one, threatening rook d3, mating. It looks as though it's threatening bishop d2, rook d3. Whoa. Okay, comments or questions on YouTube. Very difficult game. 2191 puts me at rank what's the rank on the 15-minute? Rank 28 out of 2622 total. Rank 28. 2191. Comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks so much.